Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and we're going to be trying to completely recreate and emulate guitar tones from some of the most popular metal bands, exclusively using the Bias Effects mobile app. So I have a list of bands, and I'm going to be trying my best to actually get as close as possible to the actual tones of the bands as possible, only using Bias. Now, the only resource I really have is for comparison. I have the actual tracks, from the bands. I'm essentially just going to be kind of seeing what the characteristics are of each of these tones and going by ear and recreating them with Bias. That's pretty much it. Anyways, let's get into it. So who better to start off with than with Slipknot? So when it comes to Slipknot's tone, they have kind of a mix of modern and an old school tone. So definitely high gain amp, of course. A lot of high range frequencies, with a lot of crunch in them, some high mids, a bit of that, and definitely some lows, but they have a very controlled low. Nothing is boomy or kind of disruptive. It's a very tight low end, right? So to start off, I'm just going to be using the crunch starter preset because it's the thing that comes with a gate, a drive, and an amp, which is what most of these will use anyways. All right, so let's start with the amp. Let's go with, let's see, high gain. Let's try a few of these. All right, that's okay. Want something a little more modern. It's a little too kind of just MIDI. They definitely have a good amount of lows. Okay, that's good. That's a pretty balanced amp. I'm going to stick with that. So let's mess around with the EQ. So bass is fine. Mids we can bring up a bit, not too crazy. Presence a little lower, actually. Oh, even that just kind of on its own already sounds cool. Let's mess around with the drive. So let's see. Ooh, no, not that. Thrash. Nah, okay. Let's see. A lot of variety, Jesus, for a mobile app. Loomis. Oh, that's nice. It kind of gives it a little bit of an old school touch, but it still has that modern feel to it. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what I'm going for. So we're going to bring the drive down, tone up a bit, and we're just going to kind of keep the level at that. That sounds good. Okay, yeah. Honestly, the only thing I'd really add, compressor, not really. Maybe just some EQ, just to kind of get some of those brighter frequencies controlled a bit. Let's see. So I think 4K we'd boost a slight bit. There we go. That's fine. 16K, just a tad lower. You don't need a lot lower. Same thing with kind of that 8K range, like just a bit, just to kind of control that high end. Don't want that muddiness. Want a little bit more of that modernish sound. So we're actually gonna take away a bit of that high mid, and then 500. Honestly, it's fine where it's at. And then now we want that low range kind of tightness, so it's probably going to be 120 or 250. That's a little too boomy. It might be 250. Yeah, it's a little more of a controlled kind of that low mid, so we're going to keep it around there. We're going to add a tad bit of that, not too much, a little bit more. Let's do like near 1 dB. Yeah, 0.6. That's fine. Yeah, honestly, that sounds good as how it is. Gate's working well. I'd actually add a little bit, maybe slightly more gain, but that's really it. A little bit of treble. I actually take a little bit of the mids away. There we go. I'm pretty content with that. There is Slipknot. All right, so next we have one of my absolute favorites, and that is All That Remains, okay? So I'm going to be basing this kind of off their Overcome the Fall of Ideals era guitar tone. They definitely always had a very distinct guitar tone, even though it was kind of metalcore-ish, but it really focuses a lot on kind of that mid-range, those highs, and it just has a very, very tight low end. It doesn't have like kind of a boomy low end like a lot of modern metalcore and old school metalcore even. So let's kind of get into it. So we want a lot of mids with kind of that bass metalcore sound added. So first of all, drive pedal. I think we know we got to go with the 808 classic, right? Bring the drive down, not too much, but just a decent amount, and then a tone. You mainly want the tone from this pedal. Now amp, obviously high gain. Let's go with something that's maybe like similar to a boogie or, or bogey, or like a PV, something similar to that. Let's see. Let's go through the options and kind of see what we can get that's close. It's way too, a little too old school sounding. I like that mid-range in here, but it honestly doesn't have a lot of that low that I'm really, really looking for just for the tightness. It sounds a little too flat. That sounds a little too just kind of muffly. And this again, the tread play. Yeah, I think this is it. We got to base it off this again. Okay, so mids get up here. Treble can kind of stay where it's at. They don't go too crazy with the high end, but they have a very clean and clear high end. So the bass, we're going to dial back a bit. We're going to kind of get the tightness from the bass more from EQ. Presence, we're going to bring up to make up for kind of the slightly lower high end. Another thing we want to make sure is when we have those mids, we want to have actually a lot of clarity with chords, which I think is a big reason he had those kind of solid mids in there, and he had a lot of clarity with his tone, and it was very in your face because he loved using a lot of chords like really nice huge chords mixed in, and even like leads. Yeah, I like that. Honestly, I wouldn't do much else to kind of this tone, other than maybe we'd add a bit of a compressor just to tighten things up, and then we're gonna add a bit of EQ right after. So let's put the compressor right before the drive. Kind of want to there you go. I like how that's sounding. Cool. And then let's do the EQ. Just to tighten a few of these frequencies up, right? So 10 band EQ. I like the 500. We actually want a tad bit more of that. We don't want to make it muddy though. The 1K is fine, but like we don't want too much. Again, we don't want to make that kind of mid-range muddy in any way. 2K I'm kind of just fine with it existing. The 4K we actually don't want too much 4K because again, it's very kind of MIDI focused. That's 16. It's fine where it is. Maybe just a slight boost to the 8K. Slight. 5. And then we just want that low end. I think mainly comes from that 120. Yeah, it sounds like it. So let's boost out a bit. awesome. There we have it. I'm pretty content with that. That is all that remains. All right, so next we have a classic, and that is In Flames, right? So we're definitely looking for more of an old school tone. Definitely a good amount of high end, a good amount of mids, some low. It's fairly balanced, but it's kind of more old school, so it's a bit more messy is kind of what we're going for. So let's kind of just get into it. So let's go amp. Of course, you know, it's the same thing, high gain amp. Let's check some of these out. So that's too one-dimensional. Okay, I'm liking the Insane. The Insane kind of sounds like it fits a bit more. Again, the Meryl's nice. It's just I think I need a little bit more of that low end. I know I could artificially add it with EQ, but I want it to more naturally just kind of come from the amp. Loomis sounds nice too. Actually fits quite a bit. I think we can do more with the Insane. I just have to tame the low end of it. So let's go with the Insane. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Bring up some of those mids. Some of that treble as well. Some presence. Definitely some more gain. So drive pedal. Let's just an overdrive boost. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Okay, definitely sounding cool. I need to get rid of a bit more of that kind of metalcore-y sound. You know, get some of those frequencies out of there because it's not really metalcore-y. It's more old school, kind of Milo Death style. So we're gonna want to actually keep some of that 500, but we're gonna want to add a good amount of chunk of this high end over here. It's really kind of liven the tone up. Just kind of messy in general, right? There you go. I mean, yeah, even that, I'm pretty content with. It kind of has that older school feel to it, but still has that kind of modern push, that modern crunch, which is pretty cool and very needed, you know, in that type of music. But there you go. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's move on. All right, next up we have a kill switch engage. So honestly, we just want to go for a very balanced, just high gain kind of tone. That's really it. And definitely we need a tube screamer right in front of it. That's all you really need to kind of have that kill switch, that iconic old school metal tone. So, old school metalcore tone. So let's get into it. So before even the amp, I'm going to put the tube screamer on because I know that's exactly what we're going to need. 808, done. Drive down. It's going to definitely be much more tone focused. We don't really need the drive from it. Amp, something like a PV, something similar to that, maybe if possible. That's pretty decent. Want something a little more modern though. It's a little too loud. A little too loud still. Yeah, like that's okay, but honestly, I think the tread plate's gonna be the safest bet. There we go. honestly, I'm pretty happy with that already. Let's just EQ this up a bit. So the bass is fine. Yeah, the mids are kind of fine around there. Treble's good. Let's bring the presence up. We want a bit more of that high range fun. Gain's good where it is. Bring the gain up slightly. Bring a little bit more life. Oh, the mids are dropping. There you go. And honestly, just some EQ. That's all we really need with this tone. Nothing special. Some kind of that high range. 4K. Slight bit of 8K boost. Bit of a 500 dip. There we go. Honestly, I'm happy with that. You know, just kind of a good old schools type metalcore tones. So there you go. Nothing too crazy. Let's move on. So next up, we have a classic Korn tone, but we're not actually going to be doing a rhythm tone. We're going to try to go for their classic signature kind of creepy lead sound. Okay, so it's mainly going to be an effects tone. Yeah, let's get into it. So for amp, you know, crunch is fine. We don't need any kind of high gain. That's fine. You know, don't need to do much of that. It's really going to come alive when we actually get some of the effects. Let's see all the mods here. Quite a bit of stuff. You know, Jesus, phasers, flangers, choruses, everything you'd need pretty much. So start with the flanger. I think that'd be best. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty Korn already. Bring it down a little bit in the mix, and let's get some wah. No doubt we need some wah in here. It's gonna clip it. Let's bring down the. Oof, even that's very loud. There we go. But definitely very needed. So there we go. We got some nice wah now, and let's get some chorus on this. Chorus 1. That's very cool. It kind of makes it sound a little spacey. So let's leave that in. I like that, honestly. And then just some basic reverb, not too much. That's a little too much. Well, the chorus is actually doing quite a bit of a job. Maybe we'll can the reverb. Maybe studio reverb will be better. It's way too much. Yeah, let's just can the reverb because we already got the chorus 1. Awesome. Now let's just work a bit on the actual tone. Some mids, not a lot of bass. Treble's good. A bit of bass though. Presence is good. Sure, drive pedal, why not? And a bit more mix of this. Just pretty much mess around with diminished style chords. There you go. Honestly, there's a bunch of different types of course, Korn, creepy tones, but in terms of having a good bass, I'm pretty happy with this one, so let's move along. Well, there you have it, guys. That was the Bias Effects mobile app. Hope we got the tones close enough at least. It was definitely fun just kind of messing around with this thing and not trying to think too much of what the actual band uses in terms of like their exact amps and all those models, and just kind of going by ear and trying to replicate those things kind of as fast as we can, but still trying to get it decently accurately. So hope you guys enjoyed that. If you like the app, be sure to go show Bias some love. There's a link down below in the description of where to get it, okay? And if you like this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And yeah, if you want to see more of these with Bias or whatever kind of app, be sure to tell me down below as well. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.